Alright, so we're doing some work on the 93 Vet today. Now, I've had this problem since I replaced the brakes, front ones, and I finally narrowed it down to which wheel's making this noise. We're going to pull this thing off and figure out where it's coming from exactly. So I've noticed when I drive around, not right when the car starts up from a cold start, but after driving for a little while, as the wheels spin, I hear a noise. That sounds something like that. It doesn't make the noise when I hit the brakes, though. If I'm coming to a stop or if I ride the brakes, it doesn't make a noise. So it only does it when the brakes aren't applied, after it's warmed up and the wheels are spinning. Well, there's nothing really loose here. This thing doesn't move. Left, right, up, down, sideways, or nothing. So we're going to pull the lugs off, and we're going to see if we can get a closer look at what the hell's rubbing around in here. Okay, so now we're taking the two 21mm caliper bolts off, because we need to rule out the fact that it could be a wheel bearing. I don't think so, though. I think it has something to do with these brakes, because I mean, I guess this is normal. There's no real way to stop. The wheel itself with the lug nuts would hold this still, but as it spins, I do feel a little bit of resistance right there, and then it breaks free. So I don't know if there's something on the inside, maybe. The rotor there, there's a little like rusty groove in the middle of it. Alright, so it's not the wheel bearing. Silent. Now, looking at the inside pad here, there's two different wear levels. Like there's almost that bottom and then the top part. It's like they're wearing differently. This I'll scrape out of there, but that's not metallic in any way. It's kind of squishy and gooey. It must be grease or something, maybe from my grease fittings up here, maybe. And then the rotor on the inside looks like crap. So, I don't know. It needs resurfaced. I'm not sure why it's like that, but all my slots are completely full of crud, rust or something. So I'm going to try to clean out all the drilled holes, all the slots, try to get that clean. I'm going to pull this pin out and get these pads out and see what's going on here. I'm going to try to press those pistons back in, and I'm going to get this thing set up where it needs to be, because there's always a possibility maybe the pistons weren't pushed in enough when I did this, and maybe as that rotor's spinning around, it's catching on this bracket here. I don't know. But the irregular pad, it feels, you can feel one side's lower than the other. And on here, you can kind of feel the same. So that has to be it. So we're going to pull this off and lube it up and see if we can't make sure that these pistons aren't sticking or anything. Alright, so we're back together now. Still need to torque these guys down. They're torqued at 133 or 135 foot-pounds, I think. One or the other. In that area, like 130-ish, you should be alright. And I went ahead and pressed the pistons back in on the caliper. And I globbed a shitload of anti-seize. This stuff. Around here where the pad meets this bracket, where the pads contact the caliper, both sides. Same with here where the bracket and the pads meet on that side. And then that guide pin, I lubed it up, pressed it through there, and then we got our washer and our C-clip on this side. So we're ready to torque that back down. I'll put the wheel back on, and then we'll rotate it and we'll see if it still makes that noise or not. Because I chiseled everything out of there sanded her, and yeah, I did the same thing on the pads, kind of sanded / polished it down a little, so should be okay, I hope. But that's definitely what the noise is, so I don't think it's actually some sort of catastrophic problem. It's just going to be more of a mild annoyance if this doesn't actually fix it. And if it does, great, I'll take it for a test drive, make sure it's good. I'll drive it to work tomorrow to also make sure it's good. If I still hear it, I'll have to jack it back up, check this wheel again, and then at this point now it could also be that wheel if that one's suffering from the same problem. But hopefully not. Hopefully this solves it. Alright boys, check this out. Quiet. Alright, I'm going to drop her down torque to spec 100 foot-pounds, and then we'll take her for a test drive. Alright, back from the road test, which wasn't much of one. It's getting dark, and I just drove probably a mile around the block. It is dramatically softer. I can still hear it coming from the passenger side. It's still a little bit of a thumping, but it's about 90% quieter. I think I can hear it because I'm listening for it and I had the windows down, but before you could hear it with the windows up even. So I'm going to drive it to work tomorrow, give it more of a road test since it's a little bit further to work. I can drive faster, make more turns, hit the brakes more, and then give it a real test to make sure that noise is gone. If it is, great. If it's not, but it's softer enough that it's not bothering me, whatever, I might deal with it. But what I'll probably end up doing is, I believe 90 to 100% of that problem is those slotted rotors collecting debris and stuff in them, and then that rubbing up and thumping up against the brake pads and that bracket and everything. I think that every time that rotor makes a pass, something in there is thumping, it's hitting something and making that thumping noise. So we'll see tomorrow. I'll get home and I'll jack it up if I need to and test it again, spinning the wheel, both wheels, I guess, make sure the driver's side one's not doing it too. So that's that for now. My advice on this, since I'm pretty sure the problem is the slotted rotors, don't ever get those things, and once they either warp and go out or I do another brake job, I'm going to go ahead and get regular rotors, not slotted, because those things are garbage, and you have to deal with problems like this when you could be going home after work and playing Heroes 4 or watching YouTube instead. You know, you're out doing repetitive work, because I've already changed the brakes, but I more or less had to disassemble all that stuff again to try to diagnose this weird thumping noise. So, alright, that's it for that, guys. Thanks for watching. Peace.